Hey guys, Coach Jess here.
Coach Megan.
And today is probably one of the most exciting days of our lives because we have been fortunate enough to have been granted early access
VIPs
to our favorite place on earth, Costco. So what we're going to do is we're going to take you through Costco and we are going to show you what we buy, some good options to buy, and how we can help you make better decisions when you're grocery shopping. So let's do it.
Let's go. Ground beef. There's a few options here. There's the bulk 88.12 and then the 3 individual packages of 85.15. And when you're trying to decide, they're virtually the same in terms of nutrition. So what's your budget look like? How many mouths are you trying to feed? Do you like the convenience of just having individual packages that you can pull out of the freezer? That's how you can kind of decide what the right option is for you. So any of these steaks are going to be a fattier protein option, and so it just kind of depends on your personal preference and what kind of works for your nutrition. So if you get something like a filet, it's going to be really lean, but it's going to be more expensive. If you get something like a strip steak or ribeye, it's going to have more fat, but it might be easier on your budget. My favorite is flank steak. It's fairly inexpensive. There's usually 2 or 3 in a pack, so I will either grill up both of them or I will throw one in the freezer and grill up the other one. Something like the short ribs are great for like a crock pot. So in the winter, if you have an Instant Pot or a crock pot, something like this that's got a lot of fat in it is better for slow cooking. Options for ground turkey, and they're virtually the same, but they're a great option if you want to substitute them in for ground beef. In any recipe, it'll just be a leaner option. A few options for chicken. There is chicken breast, and then in these nice little packs, and then also chicken thighs. And that's just personal preference. The chicken thighs are going to have more fat than the chicken breast. The chicken thighs are going to be a little bit more forgiving when you cook them. They're not going to dry out as much. So again, that's just what fits your nutrition plan. Great pork options. Some really lean ones like pork chops and pork tenderloin. When you're choosing something like pork sausage though, keep in mind that the fat content is going to be pretty high. So while this does have 17 grams of protein, which is a decent amount of protein, it also has 19 grams of fat. So make sure you keep things like that in mind. Great options for protein to have with your breakfast. So 2 of my favorites are the Amy Lou chicken breakfast sausage. This one's great. It's already cooked, so you just have to quickly warm it up and eat it. Same thing with the Canadian bacon. Both of these are really great lean protein options to have with breakfast. Another great option that's super convenient is chicken sausage, and there's lots of varieties here. This one is the caprese one. There's all sorts of different ones. They're going to be leaner because they are chicken sausage rather than pork sausage, and they're pre-cooked, so you can easily throw them on the grill or in the microwave, put them with eggs, easy protein. We have turkey breast or chicken breast lunch meat around. It's a great option if you are struggling to get your protein in because it has almost no fat, almost no carbs, just a straight protein source. If you need a convenient protein option, a quick dinner, something that you don't have time to meal prep but you want to have protein around, rotisserie chicken is a great option. Take it home, shred it up, and you can have it all week.
You also can't beat the price, so.
Yeah. Another great option is to grab, there's a couple shrimp options. So shrimp ceviche or the shrimp cocktail are great options. You can throw them on a salad. You can eat them as a snack. Getting the marinated flank steak is good. Be wary of things like this salmon, which is a great healthy option, except for it has a lot of butter sitting on top of it. So maybe the 6 tablespoons of butter, maybe take some of those off. All of these single serving containers, so hummus, there's a couple options here, avocado mash, guacamole, are great when you're trying to, maybe you're watching your macros, because you can just, you know exactly what the serving size is and you won't overeat if you just take one pack. There's tons of great produce options, and you can get a lot of it. So, you know, get a whole thing of spinach and you can throw this in your breakfast every morning, make a salad out of it, roast up a bunch of Brussels sprouts or asparagus and you have leftovers to throw in with lots of meals. More produce, more variety of produce is always better. Be careful when you see things like juices. While they do have a lot of nutrients in them, if you're trying to stay within a calorie deficit, one of the easiest ways to go over on your calories is to drink them. So while this has lots of fruits and vegetables in it, it's also very high in calories for not a lot. There's lots of great options for dairy and milk substitutes as well if you need one for a protein shake or with your cereal or in your oatmeal. Make sure that you read the labels on these. They all have different amounts of calories as well as different amounts of fat and carbs. So something like an oat milk is going to be fairly high in fat and it's going to have the highest calories because it has some sunflower oil in it. My favorite option, my go-to, is the unsweetened almond milk. When you're looking for a frozen burger option, there's a bunch here. I want to look at these two. These seasoned turkey burgers are a really great option. If you choose not to eat meat, then the Impossible burgers could be an option for you, but be wary of looking at the macros on these. These only have half as much protein and a lot more fat and carbohydrates.
All right, folks, so when it comes to your frozen seafood options, there are plenty here, and all of them are really good. So some leaner protein sources that you can pick up here are going to be tilapia, mahi-mahi, and the shrimp. Those are going to be your leaner protein options when it comes to seafood. Your salmon is another great option that's really good, but it's going to have a little bit more fat in it. So depending on what you're looking for, you got plenty of options here.
If you're looking for a convenient egg option for breakfast, these seem like a good choice. But when you look at the macros on them, while they do have 17 grams of protein, which is great, they're also extremely high in fat. So a better option would be one of these two. The frozen egg white frittatas, or these are the refrigerated superfood cakes. They both contain eggs, they both contain a bunch of veggies and much less fat. Eggs are a great option for snacks or for meals. I always keep whole eggs around to have for breakfast or to hard boil for snacks. And then also egg whites if you're looking for a leaner protein option, and you can always mix and match. So you could do one whole egg with some egg whites to get more protein and a lower fat option. Another good protein option is cottage cheese. It is high in protein and it's a great snack. Greek yogurt is another great option if you're looking for an easy snack or meal. There's a few options here. So what are you looking for? This one, the non-fat Greek yogurt that has the fruit on the bottom, is going to be lower in fat but higher in sugar and carbohydrates. The plain Greek yogurt is usually the best option. You can just add whatever fruit you would like to it. And then finally, they do have a convenient option that's a less sugar Greek yogurt, so it still has the protein without as much added sugar.
So when it comes to cooking your meat and your vegetables, this aisle here at Costco is going to be your friend. A really great way to avoid burnout on eating the same things is learning how to use spices and how to spice your food differently. So a couple that I am a real big fan of, first and foremost, is the Everything But the Bagel seasoning. I love to use this with avocado and tomato and some kind of meat. That's always a really great combination and one I enjoy. And then also, we have talked about this before, the veggie roasters. So you know, you're eating the same things, you're eating your lean meats, your proteins, your vegetables, but you're getting really sick and tired of it. Find a different spice and try something new. So something we're a really big fan of in my house are the Kodiak cakes. So I make these for my kids for breakfast. My husband eats them religiously every night before bed. And the reason that we love them is because, it's gonna keep rolling. One of the reasons why we love Kodiak cake so much is that if you look on the back of the box, each serving of Kodiak cake has 14 grams of protein. So for a pancake or for a carbohydrate-based snack, 14 grams of included protein is really awesome.
There's a few different options if you're looking for mayonnaise. And while this has avocado oil instead of like corn oil or sunflower oil, this one actually has more calories. So while you might be making from a food quality standpoint, this might be a better choice. It's not necessarily less calories.
Okay, so this is really exciting. If you know anything about Costco, you know that they buy things in bulk, and some of the items that they buy are seasonal and they're not always here. So we are, in the Bova household, really, really, really big fans of these rolled oats here. So we do these for overnight oats, and we use it a lot for pre or post workout meals. It's really easy because you can just take whatever amount you're looking to eat, you can put water or an unsweetened almond milk in it, and you can stick it in the fridge and then have it ready for whenever you need it. So really, really great price here of $7.99 for 5 pounds of rolled oats. Great option.
Here we have lots of great nut butter options. There's mixed nuts, peanut butter, almond butter, and while this is a good healthy fat, you have to make sure to measure because calories with nut butters add up quickly. If you like the taste of peanut butter but you don't want to have as much fat, this PB Fit is a great option. You can add this to smoothies or make a dip out of it for a third of the calories.
Okay, so now we are in my favorite section, which is the protein bar section. So we always say that we prefer that you get your protein from whole natural sources, but in the case that you can't, supplementation is always a good idea. So here we have a whole bunch of different kinds of protein bars. So let's talk about how we can differentiate between them and what might be best for us. So with these protein bars, there's a couple things we want you to consider. How many calories are in it? How many grams of protein are actually in it? And then what does the ingredient list look like? So something like a Perfect Bar here. Perfect Bars are a fantastic meal replacement. These have enough calories to be an entire meal and not just a snack. So out of these 3 varieties here, they have 340, 330, and 320 calories per bar for the different flavors, but they only have between 13 and 17 grams of protein. So you're not getting a whole lot of protein in there. You are getting a decent amount of protein, but not as much as we would like to see for the amount of calories that are in these bars. But the thing about the Perfect Bars is that they have really great ingredients, very minimal ingredients, and from a food quality standpoint, these are going to be your best options, but there's less protein and there's higher calories. Options like the Fit Crunch bars and the Pure Protein bars, you're going to have about the same amount of calories, which is right around 200, between 190 and 200 calories per bar. These have 16 grams of protein, these have 21 grams of protein, but they both have pretty extensive ingredient lists on the back of them. Lastly, we have my favorite, which are the Kirkland Costco brand protein bars. So these have 190 calories per bar. There's 21 grams of protein in each, and the ingredient list is a little bit shorter. So this checks all the boxes for me. It has a fair amount of calories, a fair amount of protein, and also has a pretty decent food quality. From a food quality standpoint, they're pretty decent. So these are my favorite.
If you are looking for a super convenient protein source, there's nothing easier than these individual protein shakes. There's a few options. For 30 grams of protein, you can choose these Fairlife, which are really great, or the Premier Protein.